Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast The Motion Picture. This week is I, Reed, and Noah, and Engen, and Cole, and we're here to bring you yet another solid week of movies. I think to give you the 411 on what's to come this episode, we're going to give you a summer movie update. We are going to talk a little bit more about Mission Impossible 8. I kind of want to take a moment, if we may. We can all talk about whatever, but I kind of want to spit a few bars about the show Andor, this up and coming franchise Star Wars. I wanted to give it a shout out. I'm going to eat a food for those of you who've been missing that. And let's see, I might mention the show Rick and Morty because I watched it for the first time in years. It was pretty good, but maybe we won't. I guess I got some timid faces
One
and
of the biggest fall offs of all time, in my opinion. So
I
I would
don't.
like to talk about it.
that's where I
I
that's where
don't
I was
agree.
at. Okay, we'll get around it. We will discuss it. And then also, we did the big three movies last week. I actually watched Mission Impossible. No, I actually watched Final Destination Bloodlines, so I can actually say a few things about that. So, first and foremost, those of you listening that like movies, that like indie movies, and that like movies made by people who are not giant conglomerate corporations that make movies solely for profit and actually want to tell a cool, fun story and like seeing a cool, fun story, we are putting together a little movie. It's been so far called the Summer Movie Production 2025, but we have a working title, which very likely is going to be the actual final title. But again, we'll just stick with working title in case something comes up. Comes to you from our good man Cole Brainerd here. The movie title we've got working for us today is Minnesota Nice, a story following four characters of Gunderson, Gordon, Kyle, and Justin, as well as two more good friends that hop in and out of the story. Dylan and Helen are leading people, are Zach Gangan here, Noel Lane, myself, Reed LaRock, Jack Walshinger, who you've seen in and on here and up on the telephone wires. That's right, the lineman himself, as well as Sam and Emily Lutz, as you will. Follows the four of them in this adventure of regrouping, revisiting one another on a vacation up to North Star Lake in Marcel, Minnesota, and things get wacky and wild, and they live a little the weekend. So that is the little bit of movie update. That's at least what it's about. Let me tell you, we've got a couple things here. We've got our film working camera here for Canon EOS R50V. That's right. Ooh, it's marvelous. For those of you on the audio podcast, hop over to video and you'll see the Canon EOS R50V. I've been working, doing some research on it. Got the mic going for it as well. We've got the final parts of everything ordered, so that chunk of production is good. And hot dog, fellas, I guess this is something cool here. Let me break up the monotony of my own speaking so you guys can oodle and oddle. I did something cool this last Friday that's going to help the production of this movie. I got to talk to the lead guy about it, but I'm in a band now, so I do that now. Yeah, it's
Reed,
cool.
Reed, you've always been a band, a
I've
one-man band,
I that
a pianist.
a wise movement, my friend. Yeah, but I have always been a band, but I joined a multi-person band. My friend Paul from work had a while ago. He said, "Hey, we're gonna do a show this summer. We're gonna go play at a brewery this summer, and why don't you come play?" I was like, "Oh, great, cool, I will." Last Friday, we actually got together. We did the thing. It was super cool, and I
You
gotta
did a
bring it.
gig.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Sweet.
we didn't
Holy
do the
cow.
gig yet. We just practiced, but we're gonna do the
Oh,
gig the week after. We shoot the movie actually. So I come back down here. I'll do that the next weekend, and I will do a gig for real, for real. Um, Pretty
Are
pumped
you
about
on
it.
keys or providing vocals
I
or a
am I am
little?
on keys at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what gave me a great idea? The reason I bring this up during the summer movie update is the first song they shared with me on my phone, this big list of all their sheet music. The first one that popped up was House of the Rising Sun, and we played that right from the get-go. And it immediately dawned on me once we get the thing filmed, we do that gig, I'm gonna bring it up and be like, hey guys, do you mind doing a few songs, to play in this movie? So, and I'm sure they'll go for it. They're pretty cool and fun. They're cool guys. So I think we got a little bit extra hot to trot music going for
I,
this thing.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is there a name of the band?
I don't know actually. It never came up and I forgot to ask today. I don't know if they have a band. There must be if we've got a gig going. Um, but yeah, there's, a Paul who plays guitar and sings. There's this lady who does A lot of the higher singing as well as I think she throws a flute in there occasionally. We got a solid bass guitarist who just slapping the bass, man. And then we've got a solid drummer and this other guy, Jim, who is I guess I should say all their names, but I won't. Anyway, Jim plays guitar. Paul and Jim also both play the banjo, so that was super sick. Um, and I got to play on something called, I think it's called the Wurlitzer. It's what Ray Charles played on, with what are the keys, but really, I don't know, synth sounding. Anyway, so yeah, I think we got ourselves a little bit of background music in the works. We got to talk to these fellas. Going to be a good deal. Yeah,
Ooh.
pretty pumped. Guys, I would highly recommend playing in a band someday. It was so fun. It also helped that you guys know that I play piano pretty well, you know. I was the
Very
worst.
well.
I was the worst instrument player out of these guys. They were so good. It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Well,
I
you've
don't
never
know.
played piano in that kind of setting before, though,
I have
either.
not,
You're
and they
like a
kept.
concert pianist.
I am, and I do play some songs of like whatever random stuff. Like I was getting the hang of it by the end of it. We did Wagon Wheel, nailed it. I will say
Ah.
it was
Every
sweet.
band does Wagon Wheel.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so funny.
No, no, no. We did a whole bunch. We did some Trapped by Turtle songs. That was fun. Um, but yeah, anyway, I imagined, yeah, I'll probably catch up, but you're right, Angan. It was a fish out of water time of like they were playing super loud. I don't know if you guys know this about me, if it comes up in our lives together. I can't really hear anything ever. Like nobody ever talks loud enough in my mind, and that's a me problem. I think it's a sensory thing. Anyway, so we got the loud music going. They're yelling key changes at me and whatnot and giving me instruction. It's like I'm just smiling, never met these people before in my life, and like my anxiety's here. I'm hitting all the wrong notes, and I was just like, yeah, let's keep smiling, having fun, and playing music. I'm having a blast. And I was, but yeah, I felt like a deer that got hit by a car and then had to keep living. So, but it was fun. All right. Anyway, that's
That's
all the.
awesome.
Yeah, it was. So that's the movie update. We got a band, hopefully in the works. We've got some work going with different people involved in this as well. We've got our cast set. We've got scheduling hot in the works, and things are coming together. Filming will be started on June the 20th. That's right. So it's coming up. If you want to be involved, leave a comment. If you know anybody that might want to be involved, leave a comment or send them our way. We are happy to talk and respond. I don't know if we can get them in on this production, but we're happy to talk about it. There's always work down the road. There's always more ways to get involved. We're always happy to meet people, and we love people with great ideas and collaborators. So shoot us some messages. We're here. All right. Next up, moving on. What do you guys want to discuss? This isn't just the old ye old Read the Rock show. This is the Cole Brainerd, Noah Lane, Zach Gingen, Read the Rock podcast, motion picture extravaganza hour. So what do you want to talk about first? Rick and Morty, Mission Impossible 8, or Andor out of those three? What do you got?
I will have blind pessimism against two of those things, and I'll speak highly about one. I'll let you guess
You
which
want to
one
be
that would be.
positive or
Yeah,
negative
that's up to
this
you
time?
guys. What side of me you want to hear, I guess.
It's up to you two
Come
guys.
on. The people came here to listen to one thing and one thing only.
Negativity.
Negativity or
No.
positivity? Okay, Mission Impossible 8 then. Let's get some final
Yeah.
moments. Gang, again, you listeners, don't click away. I was trying to avoid hopping right in this because spoilers. We're not going to spoil anything. Don't think you're going to get
What?
spoiled. We can't spoil. All right, maybe we come back around to this one. Gang, we're not going to spoil anything now because we're not going to talk about Mission Impossible 8 right this second. We're going to talk about something else. And I'll let you know when spoilers are coming. I guess let's talk about, because we're not going to do any important spoilers, let's talk Rick and Morty because I don't think you can spoil that show because I don't think anybody
Yeah.
remembers what happens in it anyway. I could start from episode one and it would be a brand new show. So what are your guys' thoughts? Engen, you hit us first because you sound like you've got a positive outlook on it. What do
So
you
what
got?
was the last season? Last season was what? Season 7? And it
Se-
just dropped?
Seven and I think eight is just coming
8 is
out now.
yeah, 8 is dropping now.
Mhm. Yeah, and I am currently. I just started watching it again from wherever I was at last, and I think I'm halfway through season six, and I'm digging season six. I didn't think I would. Last time I
You,
watched it, I kind of gave up.
do you guys happen to remember which season has the episode where Rick like transports to a different planet to use the toilet? Do you
I
remember
think
that
Oh, I know what you're
episode?
talking about.
season five. I think.
That might be the last one I've seen, honestly. Is that the one with the dragon sex episode too?
I think
That
so.
season kind of sucked.
I think I stopped there, so I'm definitely not caught up.
Well, I guess maybe that helps lend because I think you and I were on the same boat about a week ago. But Maddie and I threw it on season 6, and it's been really fun and funny. Like they've actually done some good stuff. A plot situation for the most of the season so far has been Rick's portal gun has been broken. So they've had a lot of new writing creativity where they can't just teleport in and out of situations, which actually lends itself to be better of a show. Well, a fresher take on things. Um, yeah, no, I just watched one earlier today and mighty fine, enjoyable. I'm very curious. I've not yet gotten to the new voice actors that replaced Justin Roiland, and I'm very curious. I heard good things, but
I think with that, it was like I think it was this last season is the first time he switched. I feel like the first episode, and maybe just like the first like 10 minutes, like you can, I don't know. I went in knowing it was a different voice actor.
mhm.
So like it might have been a little biased too, but I feel like just for the first few lines, you could tell it's like a little bit different. But from there on out, I think it's not really noticeable.
Yeah,
It's kind of just an, I don't know, unfortunate situation.
it is. It's unfortunate. Like I don't want, in terms of when people do really bad acts, I don't remember what Justin Roiland did, but I'm pretty sure what was he abusive to his spouse, I think, right? Classic thing.
I don't remember either,
A
but
lot of times
probably.
there's people get abusive towards their family or spouses or people that work for them. And so I never want to say, God dang it, the audience has it rough for having to adjust and now deal with these people having gotten themselves fired for their terrible actions. But like, I don't want to dismiss like it always sucks, as a fan when you're like, yeah, this rocks and that guy's funny. And then it's like, oh, Louis C.K. just masturbated in front of a bunch of people. It's like, what? Why? Come on. Now we got to sit through that as an audience, and now we lose that because you wanted to be a jerk. Like, have a little responsibility and commit to being somebody who can be relied on and work. You know, just bugs me, bugs the heck out of me. And I know there's bigger consequences for more people directly involved, like Justin Roiland's probably spouse. Anyway,
I
but
think
yeah,
you remember what season it was when they did like the true Star Wars episode?
the true
You guys
Star
remember
Wars
that one? I think it
episode.
was season 5. I think it was this season that Noah is talking poorly of. And I do that agree that like, that season was whatever season the Star Wars episode is in, that one was like the lowest tier Rick and Morty and definitely was a step down. And I'm not saying like these most recent two were, fantastic, but I do think it's, very enjoyable and I think it's definitely a positive not a positive show. It's obviously brutal and obviously very dark, but I think it's very good entertainment in the past 2 seasons, besides that one. And I think that was around the COVID time of like when they created it. So I think that obviously had some negative impacts on that as well.
I'll say I just Googled Rick and Morty Star Wars episode. It's actually season 6, the one after that
Okay.
terrible season 5. So I'm curious now about it, about when that comes. I'm not trying to stroke the flames of all this or fan the flames, I think. Um, but yeah, I am digging on season 6. There's been some very good quality bits. There's this bit about all the different fourth wall superhero characters and whatnot, like mislead and retcon. And like the writing of that in the episode is so, I don't know, it's perfectly comical. There's a guy who's shows up who like he needs motivation as a villain, and his motivation to do bad deeds is motivation. And it's just like all these simple, stupid writing things that always get me to chuckle very well. Um, so yeah, I think they're
And
kind of onto some good roots anyway.
and I think season 7 too, there was a few very phenomenal episodes. One being the Jerick trap when Rick and Jerry are accidentally like switch bodies or switch brains in their bodies
Jiricky
and they're having
Jiride.
they're trying to to get out of that situation is it's very funny. And then there's a like an actual president episode when Rick and the president are going to kind of like teaming up like good cop bad cop and gets into Rick's therapy and those characters. So I think those are two enjoyable episodes from season 7.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I guess the one I just watched earlier today, I don't remember. Analyze Piss, I think it was called, in which Rick is kind of stepping back and he's, going to therapy and he figures that he's got to, not tack on to things and just let things go. And what comes of that is a lot of really good things. And then the episode kind of turns into him trying to do a good thing and getting involved, and he just finds himself back in this loop of like, if I do anything, I'm gonna be involved. And so I just like, and even in that episode, like there's a display of suicide in it as well. And like there's even, it's such a heavy, I won't call it heavy because I guess, well, maybe I guess some people would find it very heavy. There's even a warning at the start of it from HBO or Adult Swim or whoever saying, there's a depiction of suicide. So like be warned. And there is. And I think it's cool to have this show that still does that. And I do think that I think it's on the up and up from season 5. I think season 5 was weak as can be, but this seems like it's got some merit to it. But anyway, yeah, well, coolio. That's all we got to say about good old Rick and Morty. I'm quite curious. Hey, there's a video game out there, folks, called High on Life. I don't know if I suppose Cole, you probably know it. Um, this game High on Life in which you run around, and it's very Rick and Morty-esque, the comedy, because you got this gun that talks to you. And this gun is voiced by Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty. And today or yesterday or whenever the heck it was, they just announced High on Life 2. And I haven't figured out. I'm curious if they've got Justin Roiland coming back for it. I don't know.
I highly doubt it. They probably hired the same guy who's voicing Rick and Morty now.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm not finding anything yet. Is he involved? It says it's not clear. There's still controversy involving this fella, so I don't know. Now, I want to say as well, something that sucked. I started playing High on Life 1 many years ago when it came out, and it was like, this game is awesome and super fun and funny. And like, if this is video games of the future, I'm gonna love this. Days later, Justin Roiland did that shit and it came out. And I can't play the game because every time I play it now, it's like all I go back to is that very specific time. It's like, I don't want to play as the guy who beats his wife. Call me old-fashioned. Or don't. Anyway, little 1940s spousal abuse joke for you, everyone. All righty then. Next up on the listing here, I guess we'll stave off old Mission Impossible 8 because spoilers are coming, everybody. And down the road, you guys want to talk about Andor? A little bit of Andor.
I need you guys to tell me why. And it can't just be it's the best Star
because
Wars
it's
product.
the best Star Wars product.
I tried again. I watched 3 episodes and
Dude.
I just don't have interest. And I respect your guys' opinions greatly, and I believe that it's very good. But I don't believe it in another sense, because I am just not even kind of sucked into it at all.
Did you watch the first 3 episodes of season 1?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the worst arc. You're on to some good stuff. Just keep going.
Okay.
Just literally just keep going.
Andy's,
Just keep going.
Why?
Andy's Circus.
What am I gonna
Andy's
see?
Circus.
Okay.
Andy's Circus.
You're gonna get Andy Serkis. You're gonna get a new take on Star Wars in terms of like the kind of drama that they tell in that universe. You're gonna see probably the most interesting and best depiction of the Empire in any kind of like media in terms of like how the Empire functions. It's super cool. Some great characterization too, and then especially from Skarsgård, he's gonna turn into a character that you're gonna love. So you gotta,
and I believe that because I do
going.
love him. Yeah,
you gotta keep going. You gotta get to the arc with Andy Serkis, and you gotta get to. There's a few scenes with Stellan Skarsgård you gotta see. So that's my 2 cents. And if you're interested in like an in-depth kind of illustration of like how the Empire functions, it's super cool. Okay. So you'll like that.
Something I very much appreciate is, with how the Empire functions in it. So many times you get depictions like the extra stuff that you got of the Empire after the first 3 movies. You got Director Krennic, and even still, he's just another type of Grand Moff Tarkin where he's way up there. But this, how the Empire functions, it's really just day-to-day for so many characters that are just much lower ranking members, as well as even, who's below them as well. Like, how does all of these functions and levels manage to bump into each other? I'll say, a lot of people in season one, they like to talk about Andy Serkis, and they should. Now, somebody else who a much, much more minor character that does not get enough clout is Aunt Petunia in it. I know she's in the very start,
Yeah.
and she
Yep.
hops in, I think, in a couple spots. In the final episode of season one, she has a part in the show that is what I thought was when I had watched the end of season one, I was like, that was the hook, line, sinker moment for me. I know it shouldn't be the last episode is when you really get sold on something. I love the show, but the whole time I was like, this is really great. But like, it's just to me another Star Wars show that is really great. She gets a spot in there where to me it's like this is the hook, line, sinker of what the rest of Star Wars gets to become. Like they have the spark of everything from this one character. Like, so I dig on that. Another thing is, yeah, the first three episodes I think are pretty good and fine Star Wars, but they're very much like those extra episodes you get in a Mandalorian season compared to what's to come. What you get with the Andy Serkis is you get the same awesome vibe that you can get from the Cobb Vanth season two opener of Mandalorian, I think is his name, Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant.
Ooh, yeah.
Not like action wise so much, but as like you're in, like I'm in on this, like I'm hooked. Um, Now that being said, last thing I'll say on the matter, season one got done and I was sold. And when season two rolled around, I was like, all right, now we get to follow those same characters again, and you do. But it's like it's like the season one characters were, running around doing their stuff, and then season two, everybody suddenly got like supered in terms of what you get to feel through those characters. Like there's just so much more a raw vibe to everyone in terms of how much ground gets covered with characters. So, yeah. And lastly, I'd like to say, I think if you're not getting it by this point, maybe you're just dumb.
That is a fair and just conclusion to
No, I
draw.
kid. I kid. No, I tell you what. So, and again, do you have
The
anything to tack
the
on or?
the total budget for both seasons. Do you have any guesses, Noah?
Total budget? I don't really know TV budget. I feel like I know movie budget's a little better, but let me guess
There's
100
12
million combined.
episodes per season.
100 mil.
$645 million.
Jesus. Good God Almighty. Yeah.
Tony Gilroy had endless amount of money to make this happen.
What
It's
the
so-
hell? What
it's
the
so
And he
fuck?
crazy
did, and
that it
he
was
didn't
so
like
much
making it
money.
whatsoever. He
Yeah.
didn't like making it whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm never doing this again.
I mean, the show looks fine. It doesn't look that good, does it?
I think it looks better personally than the Mando shows that use that big circular thing of the film on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
build sets, then they
Mhm.
use green
Yep.
screen instead of using the circle, whatever the hell it's called, because it's so small. So I think it looks better.
Okay.
I definitely think, yeah, the amount of detail in each set is like I can see where the budget goes in this. Like it definitely pays off.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 2 yet. I need to do a season 1 rewatch. I tried to do like a recap video for season 1, and I was questioning myself if I even finished the season. I'm like, there's so much that I have forgotten in what, 2 or 3 years. So I need to do a full rewatch, and it's going to take some time. So on this trip back to Minnesota to film, I'm going to download a bunch of episodes and try to catch up on season 1.
Does
You know,
Diego Luna ever get any charisma, or is he just like that?
does he
He's
get,
Andor, man. He's Cassian.
yeah, he's casting Andor. Like
Yeah,
Cassian Andor.
I think he might be my biggest issue with it. I don't know.
He-
No
he's-
respect. Like,
He's never cool, but like
Okay.
everything else around him is much better. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the characters are far more interesting. He's fine as a lead, in my opinion.
I think he's fine as a lead too. To me, I guess his charisma isn't like a Han Solo thing. Like his cool isn't derived from like, ooh, I have this special ship and like I do whatever I want. It's like his thing is like
brooding,
his-
like Edward in Twilight.
a bit
He's
like
not cool.
brooding, and instead of like I'm brooding and because I'm a sad old vampire, it's like, oh, I'm brooding because like I just have this ability inside of me to just shoot anybody I want. I don't really care and I just keep moving. Like that's
yeah.
the cool part.
Yeah, that is
So,
cool.
Not charismatic. Now, Noah, after hearing all that, what do you think? Are you gonna give her the old college try to completion and see about finishing this sucker, or are you gonna flake out and go floppy early on?
I'll try to go back to it. I
Hopefully.
think it was last week on Wednesday. I had some time to watch some TV, and I just really didn't want to watch Andor, so I put it on the studio Seth Rogen show, and now
Hmm.
I'm 4 episodes into that, and I've liked that one a lot. So
I have been putting off Andor just because it's so much. There's gonna be so much work. So
yeah,
I'm
but
definitely
it's
kind of with you there, putting it off. But I know I will get to it,
yeah.
and that's definitely unlike me to like put something off like that. So
I'd get mad at myself because like it's a really good show, but like there's definitely times in which it kind of gets so slow that it's hard to when things get super slow nowadays. We're all stuck on our phone moving 1,000 miles per
Yeah,
hour. So I
yeah,
don't fault anybody if they're like, oh, it's a boring show. Like it can be because there's not a ton of lightsaber fights, there's not really any. But like I'm mad because I gotta go back again. Like I'm happy to go back and rewatch it. But like I gotta go back because I know I missed so much of just not quite catching everything. And like that's a good thing in my opinion. Normally I don't like that for a show, but I'm happy to see what I missed. When there's so much of a bite to be had that you got to go in for round two, I say welcome to Flavor Town. I've always said that. It's always been my saying. All right, well, suppose that's all the Andor time we've got.
I get it. Has anybody seen the Phoenician Scheme yet?
I think I
I'm not
might
sure
be.
if I've ever heard of that. Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's Wes Anderson's thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll see that.
might be going tomorrow.
That's a horrible name
Yeah.
for a movie.
Yeah, tell me about it. You know how many times I
That's
think
a
about
horrible movie title.
when it comes to
Dude, he
titles for
doesn't
things,
care
having to
anymore.
come up with proper words that people are even able to
Yeah,
Google now. The Phoenician scheme?
yeah.
Maybe he did that on purpose just to fuck with people.
I'm sure he did. Cole, I think it
I
was you that complained. It could have been me, but do you remember like 3 billboards outside Ebbings,
That
Missouri?
was that was you. You
Like
said that was the worst
the
movie
worst
title.
title I've ever
It
heard.
is. It's
Yeah,
literally the worst title.
sticks in my mind.
3 billboards.
Yeah,
It's such an awful. That was a pretty good movie, actually, though.
yeah.
That one was pretty good. But
I
yeah, no, that's such an awful film title.
you know how I don't really like Wes Anderson that much. I do like Grand Budapest Hotel. I think I do like Royal Tenenbaums. Um I really I think if I ever were at a convention and that guy was there, I think I would stand in line to get to the front, not to be an asshole, but just to be like, hey man, I don't like your movies. Like, it's
The
like,
whole line, the damn near the whole line, half the line would
yeah,
be like
like
that.
I'm not here to like make waves or insult you.
Yeah.
Like you do really good work. Like you make a, I just don't
they're
like them.
they're not for me.
They're
Yeah.
not. And I don't think I'd ever be, I don't think I'll be happy saying that until I say it to him. So maybe someday, maybe if I ever get work on the Phoenician scheme too. But yeah. I'd like him. I really would. All right. Okay, we got Andor covered. Let me tell you real brief here because it's not that big of a detail. I finally watched Final Destination Bloodlines. They're never gonna be for me, those movies. It's just it was fun, I guess. It was fun. I'll never rewatch it, but it was fun. That's all I have to say on that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's not a glowing
That's
review.
Well,
yeah, that's not good.
but you guys, if you like Final Destinations, if you enjoy watching them even for fun, it might be for you. I like it where the bad guy in a horror movie is a Jason or a Michael or a Freddy,
Mhm.
when the villain is just people dying.
Right.
Yeah. Also, something else, another detail of this movie is these characters do not get their own premonition. We don't get a premonition about these characters. We get the original premonition in this movie about, a whole other thing, whole story, Bloodlines. I
Yeah.
would recommend seeing this. For me, like, I'm not gonna
Oh,
probably rewatch it unless, we're all hanging out and someone has it on Blu-ray and throws it on. That'd be cool with me, but I'm not gonna pull it up myself.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had to say about that. Now, next spot here. Everybody get excited. Here comes the next thing I'm gonna say we're gonna do. Eat a food. You ready? I'm gonna eat a food, except this is not a food. It's a drink. And do you guys remember? So we were walking through Walmart the other day looking for snacks because we were going camping this last weekend, looking for snacks. And I go, God, you remember those little barrels as kids, the little juice barrels as a kid? Well, bam, we found them. We found them.
Whoa.
Hugs?
Yep, we found them.
Yeah.
Little
Yum.
What
Hugs,
is
fruit barrel.
hugs?
Here it is.
Nice.
I got it open here. So
Whoa,
yeah.
that is a blue.
I would crush that right now.
You know how many calories these sons of guns are? Guess how many?
Dude, if you drink that,
320.
RFK Jr. is gonna come barging in your house, dude. Be careful.
5
RFK
calories. All right, he's gonna come
5
looking
calories?
He's gonna come. He's gonna
Kick
come
down.
get you, dude.
Well, what are you doing with my fruit barrel? All right, here we go. Oh yeah, that's it right there. That's very good. I'd highly
No, you're
recommend.
thinking of Kool-Aid.
That's a Kool-Aid man, dude.
Yep,
You got
that's
it
not
wrong.
the right thing.
We don't
You
own
did
the
the-
rights
you-
to Kool-Aid.
You don't own the rights
All
to
right.
Kool-Aid man.
Sorry then. Let me say what Little Hug's slogan has always asked me to say. Fruit, yeah!
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. I might email them today. I might actually send them a little email and say, hey, I got an idea for you. Yeah, so highly recommend. This is blue raspberry. If you like fruit, if you like 5 calorie drinks, if you I don't know, like stuff, I'd say drink it. That's all I got to say about that. I just had one of these sitting. I thought that'd be a fun little throwback nostalgia for you. So, all right.
Is it chilled or are you drinking it warm?
Oh, it's chilled. I would never drink
Okay,
one of
good.
these warm.
I
don't
can't tell.
like-
It's the plastic bottle. You can't tell.
It's been sitting out here on my thing for the last however long we've been recording, about 20 minutes or so, 30 or so. Yeah, pretty good. I would never drink a fruit drink warm. I would rather die.
Yeah.
You
I remember,
could.
like, I knew those were still around just because of my Super One experience. There's pallets of them every summer out on display somewhere. So I don't know the last time I've had one though.
No, a question about your Super One days.
Yeah.
You worked there for a long time. How many years did you work there? Like 10? 8?
I'd like to
Dude,
say
8
a
is
little.
not an
No, it's a
overstatement.
little over 6, 2017 to 2023.
How many years since you worked there now? 2?
It'll be 2 in September.
Dude, like in a few years, you will have been out of Super One longer than you ever worked there. Think about that. Isn't that cool?
Well,
We'll be old as shit by
in
then.
quite a few years
That's a
still, but
long
yes,
ways away.
we're
I
getting
know,
there.
but it's
We're getting
coming.
there.
Like, I don't know, for those of you listening that don't know Noah's whole shtick for the majority of the time I've known him has been, I'm Noah, I work at Super One.
Yeah.
He would
No,
begin
like,
every conversation.
I still buy my groceries at the store I worked at, and it is like the Green Goblin mask a little bit when I walk through the produce department. I'm like, oh, I could go back to this, but then I don't.
Dude, I hope I don't end up in Duluth again. I might. To me, Duluth is like an abusive ex. I don't like being there. I have nothing but unfond memories of Duluth. I hate Duluth. I do not like
Wow.
it.
I love Duluth, or I wouldn't live here still. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess the one thing I liked, I guess, was living with you and then Jack for that time when he lived there for like a week or whatever he lived there. That being said, like the house we lived in was a shithole. I was constantly fucking fixing that house. I hated that house. I was always doing shit to help that house. And then they took my security deposit for all the work I
They
did. Because
did do
their
that.
maintenance guy
Yeah.
could not solve problems. So I just had to fix all the goddamn problems. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hated
Sounds
that.
like
Everybody was
but it's so
homeless.
pretty. You
That's
can
not
see the
pretty.
lake all the
Everybody's
time.
on severe drugs. We have a drug problem
Not
there.
over here, not in Kenwood, baby.
Oh my
We're
God. Ugh. I hate that place. I'm not going back.
clean. Yeah.
I hate that place. I'd live outside of it. Maybe I'd live in No, I don't want to be in that goddamn area. I hate to live. All right, moving on.
oh my God.
It's more
You're a
positive.
Southern Minnesota person now.
I'm not. Don't hold on now, buddy. Slow down there, pal. I live here. I love it down here, but I live here. This is my summer home, I call it. It's hot. I got a call from my mom the other day. She was like, "It's cold. It's 55." We're like, "Yeah, it's 78 down here." Like, We're in Florida, baby.
Yeah,
This is
and
awesome.
Duluth has been colder than Rapids even.
Yeah,
So
well, it's always
yeah,
cold. It's a
yeah.
cold, old piece of dog shit city. None of the roads are proper. People run for politics. They run for office seats on the grounds of, I'm going to fix the roads. Everybody says, I'm going to fix the roads.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
does.
no.
All right?
Um,
Oh my God. There's
but
Dude, it's
we have two nautical themed bars within a 15-mile radius that are excellent. So un-
something, something that blew my mind was when marijuana in Minnesota became legalized about a year and a half ago now, I think, something like that, maybe a little bit over that. Um, it happened. It got legalized in Minnesota. And in the city of Duluth, like I'm not trying to make it sound like a negative bad thing. I'm not trying to make it a positive thing. This is a completely unsighted, unbiased thought towards marijuana. But nobody in the city of Duluth, there was no organization that had any bumpkiss to say on the matter. Everybody just silently was like, yeah, okay. That's not normal in a place. Normally Christians get together and have a problem with something. No,
there's no pushback here.
nobody pushed
That's
back in
for sure.
Duluth. So I think there's a problem there. If everybody is like, yeah, like that's not how society works. Somebody's got a problem with something all the time. Okay, a group will always have a problem with something. I did research when I was working there. I was actually spending time at work looking, trying to find organizations and groups within Duluth, however small, that even covered the topic. Youth groups, schools. Nobody cared. Nobody wrote about it. Nobody talked about it. It was ridiculous.
We
Oh,
also have a really big human trafficking issue here.
oh
And
my
I'm not
God.
kidding.
Reed, it's a shame you haven't brought this up yet. That wasn't your
yeah.
first. That wasn't your first bad thing to say about Duluth.
It goes
But
without saying.
Timothy Chalamet was here last summer.
Jenna Fisher
So
showed up.
yeah.
Yeah, who's that one band when you and I were walking down?
Oh, it was Skillet.
Skillet was there. Noah
Yeah,
and I
we
bumped
heard
into
Skillet
Skillet.
from
Yeah.
afar. Yeah.
Oh God, what a city. All right, moving on. I had a slip of paper with some notes. Moving on. We've done this, we've done that. We bada bing, we bada boom. I'm crossing out all of my notes that I have, even though I need these same exact notes to edit this later. So that is a me problem. So I guess we're coming to ye old part of the podcast where those of you who are still here and are thinking, they're gonna spoil Mission Impossible 8. Your time has come. Get the heck out of here if you need to, and we'll see you next time. For those of you that are man and woman enough and themly enough to stick through this, through the spoilers, or have seen it and want to join, here we go. What have you guys got to
They
say?
have chose to accept the spoilers.
Yeah. What
Paul, have you seen this movie?
No, so I want to dip out if you guys are going to talk about it.
all right, now well then we're not doing spoilers. Come on back, everybody who left because they didn't want to get it spoiled. Come on back. Yeah. All right, well. Cole, why didn't you say something? What the hell, dude?
Well, you in the text message you said Noah was talking about it, so I had no idea.
Oh, that's okay. Noah, did you finish your
I
did you-
did. I watched them all in the last 2 weeks.
All
Yeah.
right. What did you think of all 7
Damn.
movies leading up to this?
Very brief. 1, still great. 2 actually starts off way stronger than I remembered. It just gets to be too much. Still kind of fun to watch. 3, really, really good. I'm not even kidding. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman is great. I think the tension's there. I get what you're saying. The team in 3 is pretty but I like the Rabbit's Foot story and I like the villain. 4, Ghost Protocol. Things are getting elevated. I will say I know Reed doesn't like Ghost Protocol as much. And I think Ghost Protocol gets all the credit for what it becomes, like focused on stunts, like this big spectacle thing. I think you can point at 3. I think 3 really does kind of set it on the right path. So Ghost Protocol might have dipped a tiny bit for me in this viewing. Rogue Nation and Fallout are still the absolute pinnacle. They're so good. I love them both. I think Solomon Lane is a good bad guy in these. I really like Jeremy Renner in 5. I wish he wouldn't have fought with Tom Cruise and got written out forever. I love Ilsa Faust as a character, and I have another theory on that just kind of maybe we'll get to here. But 5 and 6 combine an excellent team with an excellent story and excellent stunts, and there's fun parts and there's high stakes, and I really do think like Rogue Nation, Fallout, or anyone that likes movies should like those. I was pretty upset at Dead Reckoning Part 1 when I rewatched it. I didn't like it. I thought the tone was too dour. I thought the new teen sucked. I mean, they kind of write out Ilsa. They kind of don't give Luther and Benji much to do. And you get a whole new character, Grace, in, episode 7, which is maybe fine because Mission Impossible is known for, switching through teens. But at this point, you can tell it's building towards a sort of finale. And I just wasn't crazy about the Grace character in 7. And I think the villain of Gabriel sucks major ass. And that holds true for 8 as well. I do like the entity. I like the idea of rogue AI being, a problem for Ethan. That makes a lot of sense in the world we're living in. And so I will say, like, I don't know, I don't need to rank all of them, but I think 7 is maybe only better than 2 in my mind. And maybe there's an argument there. But I finally, Sunday morning at 11:30, me and my parents went to 8 in the Man Cinema 8. A 3-hour movie. I had a bag of Twizzler nibs. For those who don't know, they're Twizzlers, but like that big. Got myself a Coke and just kind of buckled in, and I really, really liked it. The tone, again, very, very dark, but I think it's okay. It reminded me of Deathly Hallows Part 2 a little bit. Like, this is the end. If we're gonna raise the stakes, if it's gonna be like this is the spot to do it. And I liked that a lot. There are brief moments of levity, not many though. There's a submarine sequence that was astounding to me that I wish I could go watch again. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. The stunts are great. And I just would like to shout out Simon Pegg also. I really like what they did for Benji in this final one. So Palm, however you say her last name, Clementi, she's French. Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy, really dug her character.
I did too.
You guys mentioned like the flashbacks in the beginning of the film as a bit of an issue, maybe. I could see it. Definitely not necessary,
Yeah.
but I also didn't hate it.
I think it's pretty mild.
Not
Yeah,
end of the
pretty
world, but
mild.
I definitely I don't like it when it does that at all. So any bit is
Yeah.
an insult to me. But again, this movie does just fine. It's not something I like.
Yeah. So I think the action's there, the story was there, the cast is great. If I had a complaint still, I wish it was Ilsa. I'll just say that. I wish it was Ilsa
I
Faust.
could not agree more. The
And-
Haley Atwell character sucks.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Rebecca Ferguson wanting out because I know she had a kid, so maybe it was her. But I could also see it being because Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell are together. I could also see it being like, okay, Rebecca, we're gonna have my girlfriend be in it now, and I don't know, but
Is that true?
that is true. So
Oh,
that's
shit.
maybe my biggest.
I did not
I did
know
not know
that.
that either.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
that makes total sense, actually.
Yeah. It still sucks though. Yeah, I guess I have a couple of things. I want to say movie going experience. I had a pretty good one. Cole, you've turned me on to this thing where I always notice whenever anything happens in a movie theater, and now I'm always ranking my movie theater experiences. So fuck you. No, all jokes aside though. But this time there were some people that had a couple things to say along the way. Not criminal or end of the world, but there was one thing I heard where Tom Cruise does a stunt in it. Now this stunt is not an actual stunt. This is definitely a stunt where they're on a set somewhere and they edit in a lot of detail. Obviously, a person can't do this stunt. And they're doing this, and he's doing his thing, and obviously fake. Somebody, whoever the heck, goes something like, yeah, okay. And it's like, really? You're not gonna afford Tom Cruise one thing? He's proven how many things he can do. You really needed him to do this one more stunt?
Is it the thing that they show that they don't show and it happens off camera?
No, maybe, but
No.
That shit was awesome. I know what you're talking about, Zach. I love that scene.
I was like, I didn't really like that. They didn't
I
show
thought
it.
that was
I
funny.
mean, I was like, either show it or don't. I was like,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
guess
I
I
didn't
don't
like
know.
that part.
That'll be something we talk about the few seconds Cole hops off after we're all done with the call, because I guess I don't know in particular. Anyway, whatever it is, a point, whatever the detail happens, and I'm watching it. Even watching it, I'm still like, obviously this is not real. They would not do it for real, but like, I could see Tom Cruise trying this. Like, I don't know if he'd actually
Yeah.
survive it, but I could definitely see him doing everything in this movie. So that this one jerk is
Oh,
like,
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
that this one guy's like, yo, okay, like, what do you mean, yeah, okay? He climbed the tower. He hung out of a moving plane. He jumped from space. All right, what do you want from this guy? Come on, he flies planes in movies. Like, you guys are crazy. You can't let him do one just thing. Guy's 60 years old, and he could kill anybody who watched that movie. Crazy. Oh God. All right. On
So
top of the,
I feel like 7 and 8 were like at one point one long script that they
Yeah.
probably are like just
Yeah.
obviously just broke apart into two parts. So, and I think that definitely had 7 get the shorter end of the straw. I think 8 kind of gives some credit back to 7. Like I can see myself giving credit back to 7 for at least like setting it up. But yeah, 7 as a whole was very disappointing. And that's even like with trying to remove bias off of coming off of Fallout being
Mhm.
probably and most likely the best mission possible. So yeah, 7 was very disappointing. But yeah, 8 was definitely a step up. I don't think it was the best, but it was definitely enjoyable throughout.
Mhm.
The story was good. Like you said, it gave you that sense of Fallout where it was like this shit is real, intense, and
Yep.
like if it this could end very, very badly. And you have that sense the whole time with every character just being on their top of their game. Um, the stunts were, yeah, like you said, they were so much fun to, and they were so long. Each
Yeah.
one was such a long sequence,
Yeah.
and they did such a good job showing each one in detail. So much fun. So yeah, I was pleased with it. I wasn't ecstatic, but I was very, very, very happy about it.
I
Mhm.
think last week I mentioned I was struggling to commit to like good or bad and whatnot. I definitely wanted to lean into that. It was good, but I was trying to mitigate. I didn't want to, set you guys up to fail in terms of saying it's the best thing ever. But I really do think it even is better than what we might appreciate it for. Just because I do think Rogue Nation and Fallout like are just unattainably good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Fallout is unattainably good again, for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just like no matter, I
Right.
think whatever you wanted to make after that, it's like, I don't want to use the expression you jumped the shark because that's not what happened. Like you just peaked. You made something that
You
was
did kind of
so
peak.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
you did. There was
unless
no reason in the story in 7 to kill off Ilsa Faust. There was no reason that made sense at
yeah,
all.
it's just bullshit. Really stupid.
It was so just random. You're like, okay, I guess we're doing this now.
The movie kind of acts like she's not a massive part of the other
Yeah,
two. She is.
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. Weird, weird,
So
weird.
it's okay. They kind of lean more into, yeah, the Simon Pegg character, I feel like.
Hmm.
Put more weight on him, on Benji, which is yeah, super
Well,
cool to
well
see.
deserved. Yeah.
For sure.
I got two more things on this non-spoiler-esque. We're not going to drop any details. Noah, what do you think of that one we mentioned character who has one appearance in
Yes.
one of the others? Did you appreciate it? You like it?
I did appreciate it off the rip. Turned out to be an excellent character and I think an excellent performance. So I don't know whose idea that was, but it worked very well for me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll say out of like the team members of this movie, like that guy is
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does a lot of the heavy leg
Couldn't
lifting.
have done it without it.
Yeah, seriously, kind of needed that guy. And then also, what did you guys think? What did you guys think? This is, I guess, is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's something that is happened and revealed in the first 5 minutes. It's kind of the setup to the movie, in that what's going on in the world is that the world's kind of terrified of the AI and is kind of on this global crackdown martial law. What'd you think of that for the final movie world?
Like I said, if you're gonna do it, you do it in the finale of a series, I think. And I think they do it well. There's the scene where Ethan's talking directly to the entity, and you see just, nukes going off left and right. And that was affecting to me. Like, I was scared and anxious
Yeah.
during that scene. So there's you have to maybe take Mission Impossible movies with a grain of salt when it comes to stakes, but there's also, this is the last one. So you can get away with some extra bad things. I liked it. It's a big swing, but I liked it.
I thought it was a very refreshing thing. Um, I think last week I had mentioned how tiresome it is in the movies that Ethan does the same thing every time of disavow, disavow, disavow. Whereas in this one, I kind of starts off, I think, and he's not really, I don't know if he's necessarily really working for anybody right from the get-go, but clearly people want Ethan Hunt. I feel like I got my wish. People are very much like,
Right.
we need a solution, and it very well could be Ethan Hunt. So it's like, all right, people appreciate that this guy does good work. So yeah, I think that's our mostly spoiler-free Mission Impossible 8 review. Come back next week, and maybe we'll talk about it again. We probably won't, but we definitely won't. We got other stuff. Next
Definitely
week,
should.
it's good. We'll come back. Well, I think we ought to do another Mission Impossible specified, like the couple of franchises we've broken into, I think. But I say next week we have a movie we'll already be talking about. Next week's going to be a special thing. We're going to be doing a back-to-back recording of an episode and then another episode to be released, on their normally scheduled days of the Tuesday and the Tuesday after that, because as I said earlier, we'll be filming the movie. So we won't really be available to record this stuff. We won't have energy because we'll be too tired having a great time. Anyway, movies we'll cover Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. That will be the talking points. And yeah, do you guys have anything else you feel you gotta shout into the microphones, let the world know?
I'm ready to get Simon pegged.
Alrighty, well, we'll wrap this episode up then with that.
Final
Good
reckoning
one.
wasn't enough for you.
Alrighty, yeah, good episode this week. There's gonna be a movie coming out, most likely gonna end up with the final title, currently the working title of Minnesota Nice. Keep it on your agenda. Talk about it, learn about it, reach out
People
to
are
us.
talking about it.
People have been talking about it. Talk to your friends about this stuff. We got a whole lot of stuff going on here. A lot of good things in Podcast The Motion Picture. Thank you all for watching. And as for your discretion, I do not appreciate your discretion. You should go onto the rooftops and shout out about this show. Anyway, so yeah, have a good week. We'll see you next time. Bye. That was a whole episode of the Whole Other Podcast. It's over now. The podcast is done.